Hi, second graders. Miss Shannon here. You just listened to the story, Why Fir Tree Keeps His Leaves. And now together we are going to figure out what is the theme of this story. Remember that to find the theme, you must think about what the characters say and do. Often, theme is not stated directly by the author. That means the readers must figure out what the story's main message or lesson is on their own by paying attention to what the characters say and do. You will open your turn practice book to page 256, and you should see this graphic organizer. Together, we are going to find 3 clues which hopefully lead us to the theme of our story. Our story, Why Fir Tree Keeps His Leaves, is a myth. This means it is a made-up story that is trying to explain something about the world. In this case, it is trying to explain why some trees have leaves and why others lose their leaves in the winter. I am not going to reread the whole story, as you should have just listened to it on the previous slide. We are going to find some different parts from the story and zoom in and reread them together. So we are going to zoom in on the paragraph that starts right here. Then the first fall. Right? Then the first fall arrived. Farmer harvested what he had grown. Maple, oak, and elm's leaves turned beautiful shades of orange, red, and yellow. The leaves shone as golden as the sun. Fir tree's leaves stayed green. Fir tree complained to Mother Nature, "I don't like my leaves. I want them to change colors like my friends' leaves." "Be patient," Mother Nature replied. "You will learn your purpose." So at the beginning of the story, we learn that Fir tree wants to have his leaves change color just like his friends, like maple tree, oak tree, and elm tree. His leaves stay green. So this is one of our clues. Remember, we have to pay attention to what the characters say and do. So here it says, Fir tree complained to Mother Nature, "I don't like my leaves. I want them to change colors like my friends." That's something he's saying. It is giving us a clue to the theme. So we are going to write down what Fir tree says. Fir tree doesn't like his leaves. He wants leaves like his friends' leaves. You can also mention that he wants to have colorful leaves, if that is part of your clue. So press pause as you write down our first clue and press play when you're ready to move on. As the story continues, it becomes winter. In the winter, Fir tree's friends lose their leaves. Maple tree, oak tree, and elm tree lose their leaves. But does Fir tree lose his leaves? No. But once again, Fir tree wants to be just like his friends, and he wants to lose his leaves too. And again, Fir tree protested to Mother Nature, "Why am I different? Why don't I have stages and change like my friends? I seem to be stuck in one period of life." Meaning he never changes. The fir tree is always green, never changes colors, never loses its leaves. Why? When all the other trees have their leaves change color in the fall and then they lose their leaves in the winter, why is he different? And again, Mother Nature says, "Be patient." So that is another clue. Fir tree again says that he wants to be like his friends and he wants to lose his leaves just like they did. So go ahead and write down your second clue and press play when you're ready to move on. And lastly, it is still the winter time. I can still see snow on the tree. And Squirrel appears, trying to find a place to build a nest. Second graders, is the squirrel able to build his nest in the maple tree or the oak tree or the elm tree? No, they didn't have any leaves and the trees were too cold. So who does the squirrel ask for help? Squirrel approached Fir Tree. "Excuse me," she said. "May I build a nest in your branches?" "Yes, that would be nice," said Fir Tree. Squirrel ran up Fir Tree's branches and she made her nest. Soon she was warm, comfortable, and asleep. Fir Tree finally understood that his green leaves provided a warm shelter for animals in the winter. From that moment on, Fir Tree was happy to be different. Still today, he remains proud of his evergreen leaves. So our third clue is that Fir Tree gives Squirrel a warm place to live in the winter. His friends were not able to do that, even though at one point they had colorful leaves and then they lost their leaves. Fir Tree was able to give Squirrel a warm place to live in the winter because he still had all of his leaves. What do you think the theme or the message or the lesson is in this story, second graders? The whole story, Fir Tree is complaining that he does not have leaves like his friends, like the other trees, and all he wants to do is be just like them. But what does he learn? Is it okay to be different? We all have different purposes, and the fir tree's purpose is to provide shelter for animals in the winter. He is different than the other trees, but it is okay to be different. So that is the theme of our story. It is okay to be different. I also noticed that the Mother Nature continued to repeat the words, "Be patient." Be patient, you will soon understand your purpose. And Fir Tree was patient and finally was able to understand his purpose. After you have finished, you may take a picture and put it in the green box. If your camera is not working, you can type your responses into the last slide on this assignment.